Hello everybody and Happy New Year, and welcome to episode 5 of Bytes. And it's amazing, isn't it? 2018, and this year is my year of doing. In the past I've been known to procrastinate a little bit, but this is very different this year, and it's been off to a good start, although we're only a few days in. But I have been concentrating very hard on getting the head down and giving myself big chunks of time to work on my business, on client project work, on learning. And I think that's a big emphasis for this year for me, is going to be the journey of making sure every day I'm learning something new and every day I'm providing value to clients as well. So yeah, let's get on with the show. And today I want to sort of reflect on last year and sort of talk about one of the biggest things or changes in my life over the last year or so has been my habit of listening to podcasts, which you are obviously doing right now as well. That car journey, that half hour, that 45 minutes, that 10 minutes, every time I'm in the car, a podcast will come on and I will listen to, and this is where I'm talking about learning, about pushing forward with sort of everything in life, hacks, marketing, anything, philosophy. So really what I want to talk to you today about is what you should be listening to in 2018. And these are sort of covering marketing and life. Marketing because that is what I do, and hopefully that can help you in learning a little bit more about marketing through these awesome podcasts that I will tell you about. And the life one is the little hacks, the philosophies, the deeper thinking. And I've, over the last couple of years, been on a very big existential change in my life, really thinking about sort of the meaning of everything, day to day, second by second, week by week. And it's been a big journey, and there's a couple of podcasts that have really helped me on this journey that I will share with you today. So marketing, let's start with marketing. And if you are in business, if you are a small business owner or a large business owner, or if you work within a team that helps with marketing a business and you are on Facebook, this one is just the most amazing podcast. They're not long episodes, they're maybe like 30 minutes, 40 minutes, sometimes shorter. And it goes deep, deep, deep into Facebook advertising and the latest trends, what's happening, what's been happening, what you should be doing on a daily basis. And the podcast is Perpetual Traffic. So Perpetual Traffic is brought to you by an online marketing company called Digital Marketer, who provide amazing content. And their podcast, which has been going now for a couple of years at least, I think they're up to about episode 130, has just been so amazing to get insights into Facebook advertising on all levels, from basic stuff through to the more in-depth stuff and the new technologies like the bots in Messenger and whatever. It's just such a well put together podcast, American obviously. Usually has 3 people on it talking, and they've all got sort of different strengths in what they talk about. And there's 2 episodes that would be a really good starting point for you guys. And the first one is episode 130, which I think is probably the latest one. And they talk about the biggest episodes of 2017. So they maybe highlight about 5 or 6 episodes that you should look back on in 2017, which will really give you a good start to get your head back into Facebook marketing. And that is if your business is marketing on Facebook. If you're doing anything to do with Facebook marketing, this podcast is the go-to one. The stuff is just so well put together, actionable, and they also have a lot of sort of case studies as well, which is really good. So you can kind of get real world examples of what they do. And they talk about a lot of their funnels, their Facebook marketing, their clicks, the click-through, and just their general sort of the way they put together everything. So yeah, that's my number 1 choice for marketing And I suspect going into this year, Facebook's getting more and more powerful by the second. It is a beast. And if you're even looking at starting to learn about Facebook marketing, this perpetual traffic would be the place to start. And the next marketing podcast I listened to, and I listened to this guy's content through Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, but really the last few months I've really been getting into his audio stuff, and he does audio work, audio podcasts from his keynote speaking, from his general day-to-day life, from meetings with real clients, meetings with celebrities, and it is the one and only Gary V. And I think the podcast is called the Gary V Audio Experience. Gary V is an absolute beast when it comes to digital marketing. He built his business, his dad's wine business, from 4 million to 60 million just through latching onto Google in the early days and latching onto YouTube in the early days. And he now owns a massive digital marketing agency which is taking on the big boys, and his content across the board is just absolutely amazing. So his name is Gary Vaynerchuk, and if you Google him or Google Gary V, Gary, Gary, V-E-E, you'll see an amazing amount of content. But his podcasts are brilliant. Again, chuck them on if you're in the car, if you're in a business where you are currently in the social media digital marketing space and you need to sort of push that and get some inspiration for what you should be doing. The Gary V audio experience is absolutely unbelievable. All his content, his books, his YouTube channel, his Instagram, every little touch point of his stuff. And if you ever get the chance of actually going to see him, as I did in Singapore a few months ago, do it, because he is a genuinely great guy. And yeah, what can I say? Gary Vaynerchuk is the man, and start listening to his content in 2018. I suspect there's a few big things coming out from him. Okay, so from a marketing perspective, they are the two podcasts I would listen to this year, and even go back and listen to some from the last couple of years. Perpetual Traffic for Facebook marketing, and Gary V for just general marketing inspiration, digital marketing hacks, what you should be doing. And a lot of the stuff is, look at what he's doing in his content and replicate that and double down on it. Absolutely amazing stuff. Okay, as I said before, my last couple of years I've sort of had a big swing in regards to thinking about life and why we're here and what kind of life is about. And because I'd started listening to podcasts, I was interested to see if there's any good kind of philosophy podcasts that were out there, and there is. And this one, again, nice short, like 20 to 30 minute episodes covering philosophy from the ancient Hellenistic age right the way through to modern day philosophers. And I can't remember exactly how many shows. Again, I think it's 100 and something that he's done. And this podcast is called Philosophize This. And it's Philosophize with a Z because he's based in the US. And the guy's name is Stephen West. And he's funny. His audio is so well put together, so in depth. And just he's got a really nice conversational way of doing his podcast. And if you want to learn about Kant through to Nietzsche to Hume to any philosophers of the Hellenistic age, as I said, Socrates, Plato, Aurelius, all the greats. For me, it's been a really great learning journey. And without listening to this podcast, I don't think my philosophy head would be anywhere near it is today. It's just such a great podcast to listen to think about life, to think about why we're here, and to get some answers from the great philosophers of our time. So that's number one for kind of life podcasts. Philosophize This by Stephen West. Definitely have a listen. And of course the other one, you could probably guess, from a life hack perspective is the Tim Ferriss Show, TIMFERRISS Show. Tim Ferriss is an absolute beast. Again, he's in that ballpark with Gary Vee, but on a kind of life hack, health, business kind of side of things, and just absolutely amazing. The Tim Ferriss Show. What he kind of does in his podcast, and again, his podcast can be quite long, so you're looking at sort of an hour to maybe 2 hours long, but he interviews people at the top of their games. So we're talking Tony Robbins, Jamie Foxx, and sort of sports, so it covers sports, business, and well, all sorts of people, anybody you can think of, comedians, YouTubers. What he does is sort of just gets them to open up about what they do in their lives to be so successful in what they do. And the way he structures the podcasts are great answers. The questions can be fairly similar for each person, which is really good as well. Things like, like what would you, if you had a billboard in front of lots of people, what would it say if you had your own billboard? Little things like that. I mean, that's not the best example, but he goes really deep into kind of morning routines, health routines. A lot of the stuff comes down to, which is a really interesting fact actually, with nearly, I think 70% of the people that he has interviewed, they all have some form of kind of meditation or mindfulness practice, which is really interesting, and that has influenced me, and I now meditate as much as I can, and this year I'm trying to do 10 minutes a day at least every day this year, so we'll see how that goes. Again, I'm starting off pretty good, but we are only a few days in, so I'll maybe touch base with you again in a couple of months and see how I am going. But yeah, the Tim Ferriss Show is an absolutely amazing podcast if you just want a bit of advice, a bit of help, a bit of strategy on life in general, and hacks to living a more fulfilled life through health, through business, and just through enjoying the process and not getting too caught up in anything else. So let's go back over that quickly. So marketing, you must listen to Perpetual Traffic for Facebook advertising if you have anything to do with Facebook, and Gary Vee for general digital marketing inspiration. He is an absolute amazing character. In regards to life, in regards to your deeper thinking, Philosophize This with Stephen West is an absolute killer. And lastly, but definitely not, I can't even think of what the saying is. Lastly, but not, whatever. The last one is the Tim Ferriss Show. Absolutely amazing. So I mean, just there alone, you could listen to these 4 podcasts this year and your content will be filled up. And it's just such a great way, that's been the biggest change, is getting in the car, not sticking on the radio, not sticking on a tune, but sticking on a podcast that is going to help you navigate your life in business, in health, in whatever, and just get you thinking every day, or get you thinking a couple of times a day, or 3 times a day, depending on how many times you're in the car. But and that's my little hack for this year. If you're not doing it already, listen to a podcast when you are in the car. Okay, guys, well, thank you very much for listening. That was a bit longer than usual, and hopefully it was useful. The next one I'll be doing will be a little bit more practical in regards to digital marketing. I will be talking about Instagram and how you should be approaching that platform. Okay, guys, Happy New Year again, and let's kill it this year, guys. Bye.